1, 2, 3.
Hello everyone, this is Kyle Galaz with Poor2Pro Car Sales Training Podcast. Become a sales titan. We are in Season 6, Episode 10, the final episode of Season 6. How far we have come. A lot of you people out there, salespeople, have been following me since the beginning, since November 2020 when I started this podcast, started this journey with you guys and girls to try to help elevate the car business. And I'm proud to say that I'm still doing it, and I'm going to continue doing it because I love helping salespeople around the world. I love the feedback I get from you guys and girls saying that the podcast has been helping. I'm here to help you guys and girls, and I'm happy that it is helping. This episode's called Selling Customers Without Realizing They're Buying. We're going to get into that shortly. If you guys haven't already, make sure to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, everything. All the links are in the description, so make sure to follow me. If anything, that helps the podcast reach more people. And if you want, please share the podcast with someone you feel that might benefit from some knowledge about the car business, because a lot of dealerships aren't training their salespeople properly. A lot of dealerships out there hire you and say, all right, go sell some cars, but they're not giving you the tools to sell those cars, and then they want to complain about their salespeople not selling cars. Don't be that salesperson that relies on a store or a dealership or a manager that doesn't want to help. Rely on me. I will help you out. Listen to all the episodes and share it with people. That's a big way to support me. I want to say thanks to all my supporters that throw me a donation here and there. If you want, go to buymeacoffee.com/Poor2Pro. Even if you just want to buy me a coffee on there, you can do a $5 donation, or you can become a member and get a shout out on the podcast and get your Instagram in the description. So thank you guys. Scott Mitchell's one of my top supporters out there, out of Texas. I appreciate it. Scott on the lot. He's been supporting me for quite some time with the highest level of membership, $20 a month. I appreciate it. And Scott's name is in every description of each episode. So thank you, Scott. Shout out to Scott out there. And whoever's bought my books and all that good stuff, man. Amazon, just thank you guys for supporting the podcast, because that just shows me that it's working and you guys are willing to help me and I'm willing to help you. And guess what? We're a team. I may not be your exact manager at your dealership, but I'm here to help. And I always will. So thank you guys for the support. All right, let's get into this. Selling customers without them realizing they're buying. Now, you have already done this. The key is to do this more often than not. The key is to have customers buy vehicles and they don't even realize they're buying. Now, how does that even happen? You may be asking me, Kyle, that doesn't even make sense. Of course, customers realize they're buying. No, not all the time. A lot of times they don't realize they're buying the car until it's too late. And you've gone so far in the process that they don't want to do this again. They don't want to relive this event at another dealership. And you've brought them so far through the process that they look at each other and say, I guess we're buying a car. And you've probably already done this and can think back to specific customers that you've done this with. You sold them a car without them even realizing that they're buying. And that is a true testament to skill, sales abilities, being able to build rapport, being able to be a personable person that they like. You know, somebody that they can relate to, somebody that showed them the benefits of buying this vehicle, someone that showed them the competitive comparisons and why your vehicle has that value advantage over the competition. They don't need to shop anywhere when they've met the right salesperson that can take them to the promised land without them even realizing it's happening. It's almost like, you know, if you're walking to a destination and you keep your face, you know, you're looking down and you just keep walking and walking. Next thing you look up and you're there. That's what's happening to these customers. They're almost distracted by your abilities and your charisma. They're distracted by that, by the beautiful scenery that you're putting on, that by the time they look up, they own the car now. So we're going to talk about how this happens to customers and how you need to get good at this, because the better you get at this, not only are you going to make more money, but you're going to have happier customers because you didn't have to actually sell them. You didn't have to lay the closing techniques on thick. You didn't have to pressure them. You didn't have to do all this stuff. You just got really good at disguising a sale in this grand picture that you painted for them, and all of a sudden they're buying. And you'll know you've done this with customers by a few things they say at the end of the sale, which we'll go over. Now, if you're following the steps of the sale and you still need to learn the steps of the sale, go to my episode called The 11 Steps of the Sale and figure out the steps of the sale, because for you to be able to disguise a sale into the customers just being on the lot with you and you guys are having fun, but you're actually going through those steps. They don't realize that you're going through those steps. You have to know the steps of the sale like the back of your hand. Because if you have to think about what's next, then the customer will realize what's happening, okay? And things like, do you want to go on a test drive? That's an obvious next step, and a customer can detect that. And when you ask, do you want to go on a test drive? Do you want to drive it? Then the customer puts up that wall of defense because, oh, he's trying to sell me. The key is to disguise each step of the sale as just you going through a fun process with the customer and you painting this beautiful picture of having fun and checking things out and no pressure and all this, but you're slowly taking them through the steps of the sale without them even realizing. That is a true sales titan, when you don't even have to sell anymore. Talk about, that doesn't even make sense. A salesman that doesn't have to sell. I know this is true because you have done it with customers already. But what we have to do is multiply that more often than not. So let's talk about it. The steps of the sale, the meet and greet. Okay? The meet and greet. This is your chance to take control of the steps of the sale by going out there with a beautiful meet and greet with these customers and showing them that you're in control of the scenario without being the alpha, not squeezing their hands so hard and having the, leaning over them. And, we're not trying to establish that we're the alpha. We're just giving them a nice warm meet and greet and letting them know, without letting them know, that we're in control by getting their names, by asking why they're here. Are you here for sales or service? Are you talking to anybody? Okay, not a problem. My name is Kyle, right? And you go through this beautiful meet and greet and you set the establishment that you're a professional and that you're in control, because the rest of that sale gets easier when they realize, okay, I'm with a professional. He can take control of this wheel and we can just follow this leader of a car salesperson through the process. And when you can establish that in the first few minutes of a car sale, then everything becomes easier. If the customer meets and greets you, hey, is there any salespeople here? Boom, it's too late. They're in control. They're asking the questions. They're getting the salesperson. You have to be in the forefront. You have to be watching that lot. You have to get out there first, okay? Now, that leads into the rest, right? Building rapport, a needs assessment, a product presentation / walk around, the demo drive, coming in, working the close. All these things relay into the next. And if you can do it right, the customer won't even realize you're going to that next step. Okay, so let's talk about a few of these steps leading into the next. And I've talked about this quite a bit in my podcast, but let's talk about it in disguising the sale without them realizing they're buying. And one of them is the walk around. Okay, so you've done a great meet and greet and you've led right into a beautiful building rapport, finding out about them while you're doing a needs assessment. Yeah, what are you going to be using the vehicle for? I'm just getting this information because I don't want to show you the wrong vehicle, right? You're just doing little things like that to build a friend and show them that you care and you're listening to them and trying to find out their wants, but also their actual needs. Remember that. Customers may say they want, but that's not exactly what they need. So you have to read between the lines when customers are saying what they want and find out what they actually need and find that perfect vehicle that covers their wants and their needs. And when you can do that, then you don't have to ask a bunch of questions about the minute details. You can listen to what they're saying and find the right vehicle. Okay, and that leads into that product presentation, which is the walk around. Are you disguising your walk around so good that it feels like a buddy is just showing them, a friend is just showing them a vehicle? And are you using assumptive close verbiages like, oh, you're going to love it in your driveway? When you take it to work, everyone's going to come outside and be like, what are you driving? Or when you guys go camping with the family, or when your dog's in the back, you're having them take a mental ownership of this vehicle. That's a way to disguise them buying the vehicle, you selling them the vehicle, because you're talking about stuff they're going to experience after ownership, after they sign for it. And when you assume the close like that, it makes it easier to ask for the sale at the end. It makes it easier to sign the docs when they've already imagined, yeah, we'll hook up our trailer. And you've heard customers say this, yeah, when we put the kids in the back, we still have space for the dog, and then we hook up the trailer and you can see, and they're almost discussing ownership of this vehicle without you having to talk about buying it. This is how you disguise it. You say things assuming that they already own it, like it's going to look good in your driveway. Your friends are going to be jealous and envious. They're going to think you won the lottery. All these little things start adding up to them owning the car without them even signing yet. And they can start taking mental ownership. It's a simple technique that you can use. And you don't want to overuse it. You don't want to say in your driveway while you're at work, but you can throw those little buying cues in there, those little assume the close type things throughout the process. And if they talk about money, if they bring up what are my payments going to be, again, you have to disguise what you're talking about with them as you not trying to sell them. Well, I'll get you approved at this, and we offer these kind of rates. It sounds like you're a salesperson at that point, right? So what do you say instead if someone says, what are my payments? Hey, we're going to make them extremely affordable for you. So when you're getting that first statement in the mail, you're not panicking like, how am I going to make this payment? But don't worry, I'll handle all that inside, right? Those kind of verbiages, instead of saying, well, my last customer had a $650 payment. Right? You sound like a salesperson, and now that $650 payment, you haven't built all that rapport, you haven't built the value yet, the $650 payment's too high. The $650 payment may be the exact payment they sign on, but how are you approaching that payment discussion? How are you offering that payment, and are you offering at the right time? If a customer asks on the lot, what's my payment going to be? And you spit out a payment that, because you pretty much know, right? You've already ran the numbers. You've already sold one like this. You know that, hey, with good credit, your payment's going to be around $650, $700. That's a sales tactic, and you're going to shy a customer away from buying it because they're not ready for that high payment yet. They're not ready to take that on because you haven't built that value. So that's why the steps of the sale are so important, because if you can guide that customer through the steps of the sale without sounding like a salesperson. I'm just taking you through the steps of the sale. I'm just getting you the information of this vehicle. I'm just showing you the features. I'm just taking you on a test drive to see what you think. I just want your opinion on this vehicle. If you can disguise all those steps of the sale as just an organic conversation with the customer, or an organic thing that you're doing with the customer, they don't realize that you're taking them through the 11 steps of the sale. The whole point of selling customers without them realizing they're buying, is getting them through the steps of the sale so far that when it's finally the point where they're like, holy moly, we're signing, it's too late. They've committed. They've taken mental ownership. They've taken pictures of it. They've done all these things. They drove it to their spouse at work with you and on a test drive. And, they've done all these things without realizing that you're trying to sell them. And the way you do that is by building that value, building a friend, taking them through the steps of the sale without saying salesman type verbiages, assuming the close by building a vision with them of them camping, of them taking it on a trip, of their kids in the back with their football gear, with whatever hobbies that you've figured out, whatever things you've built with them as far as rapport, you can start talking about that. That's why the steps of the sale are so important, because through that rapport building in steps 2 and 3 in the needs assessment, you can find out what things to talk about when you're trying to assume the close with them and talk about things they're going to be using the vehicle for. If you don't build that rapport and you don't do that needs assessment, you might be talking about stuff they're going to use the truck for play and goofing off and camping and family, and they're buying it for work. right? You have to do that right needs assessment so you can organically build a relationship with the vehicle as one of the parties of this relationship. So that way, when you get to the numbers part, and of course the trade-in value is too low, of course the payment's too high, of course our price isn't good enough, we already know the customers are going to say that, so why stress out about it? Just deal with it at the desk. But get that customer through that process, build that friend, and take them through the process organically without having to ask, do you want to test drive it? So let's get back to that. When you can do a needs assessment / walk around, product presentation / walk around properly with a customer, then the customer will be asking you for the test drive. The customer will already be in the driver's seat with the car on and your dealer plate, and you already made a copy of their license because you talked about things in the walk around that they're going to experience on the test drive. When you can do that properly, hey, the things you're going to feel when you're braking and steering, and I really want your opinion on this particular turn I take people on, because I want your feedback on how that turn felt in this car versus the one you looked at the other dealership, or the one you're currently driving, these sharper turns. And when you can start saying stuff like that, then they're excited about driving your vehicle without you having to ask for the test drive. These are the little things I'm talking about, disguising the sales process, because now you don't have to ask for a test drive. At this point, they're in the driver's seat because you did a proper walk around, and now they're sitting down in the driver's seat and the engine's on, and you've already talked about things they're going to experience when they hit the brakes hard, things they're going to experience when they accelerate fast, things they're going to experience when they put it in sport mode or comfort mode. These are all things that you're going to talk about in the walk around, so that way on the test drive, you don't have to ask for it. They're excited about it. They hand you the license. That is what I'm talking about when you're disguising a customer purchasing a vehicle without realizing they're buying it. Those are the things. Okay, so think about the next step after the test drive, Kyle. How do I disguise working the numbers, right? What am I supposed to do? The next step is to bring them inside the showroom. How can you disguise that? Well, hey, I'm going to get you the rest of the information. I know you're in a hurry. You can say that with anybody. Everybody's in a hurry nowadays. And when you say that, even if they're not in a hurry, it shows them that you care about their time. And that when you guys go inside, it's not going to take a long time. It may take 3 hours. But when you say, hey, I know you're in a hurry, let me get you some more information, come on inside real quick, you don't sound like a salesperson. If you come back from a test drive and you say, all right, let's go work the numbers, I'll see what best we can do, you now sound like a salesperson, and now they know they're back in the sales process. But if you can come back from a test drive and just walk inside and they follow you, you've done at first a good job because they're following the leader, and second, they don't know that they're going to the next step, which is working numbers. Now, if they're a little hesitant to come in the showroom, say, come on inside real quick, it's not going to take a lot of time, I know you're in a big hurry. I just want to get you the rest of the information so you can make an educated decision if you want to, do business here. If you want to consider this as your next vehicle. Oh my goodness. Okay, yeah, more information? No problem. I do want to make an educated decision. I'm a smart customer, right? But they're not smarter than you, and they're not smarter than master closers, and they're not smarter than sales titans. So this is how you can disguise working the numbers and the customer buying the vehicle without them realizing. Now they're coming inside for more information. And you had them sit at your desk, and now you got a picture of your family on there, and you can say, oh, that's my daughter, and that's my wife, and oh, there's our dog, and you can start talking about that. And this is why having a desk or a place that you do deals a little customized with some family and some hobbies that you do is so important, because now you can put the customer at ease that they're not at a desk to work numbers. They're at a desk to get information from a nice guy that goes to church, from a nice guy that likes to go biking, from a nice sales lady that just got her new, puppy or whatever it is. You have a customized desk so you can put the customer at ease. And then you can talk about other things while you get this information. And the other information is, of course, the numbers, their trade value. All these things you have disguised as information. So when I'm talking about selling a customer without them realizing they're buying, I'm talking about disguising each step of the sale as just the next organic process. After the test drive, they follow you in. After the walk around, they go on a drive. After a warm meet and greet, you get some information about them. You build a friend. You get the needs assessment. And they have no idea what's happening because you don't sound like a script. You don't sound like the average car salesperson, because the average car salesperson sounds like an average car salesperson. And a sales titan or an elite salesperson doesn't sound like a car salesperson because they're so good at disguising it. They're having fun. The customer's laughing. The customer's smiling. The customer's following the leader. And guess who the leader is? You. The leader is the salesperson that is making a tremendous amount of money, that has repeat and referrals, and has customers come in after 3 or 4 months of not seeing them, and they walk up and give you a hug. They bring you cookies. The sales titan is the person that gets invited to barbecues. The sales titan is the salesperson that gets job offers from customers that own businesses. You have any offers, these people that are elite salespeople, that customers want them to work for them? An elite salesperson, a sales titan, get job offers all the time. Get fun cookies and brownies and home baked goods brought to the dealership because the customer loves the salesperson, because the customer didn't get sold. So here's how you know that you've done this you've accomplished this in your career. When customers are at your desk and you're waiting to go to finance and your paperwork's all done and they say stuff like, "This was so easy," that means you did it. Or when a couple looks at each other and say, "I guess we're buying a car," you did it. Mission accomplished. When customers are at your desk and you're about to go sign, or they've signed and they've come out of finance and they almost look surprised, mission accomplished. When you've done a good job of disguising all of this, you'll know at the end, because they look at each other, they look at you and say, "Man, we just came in to look." Mission accomplished. You did exactly what I'm talking about, selling a customer without them realizing they're buying. You've taken them through the steps of the sale without them realizing they're going through the steps of the sale. And these are the same people that you make big grosses on, that you have these fat commissions on, that bring you cookies and offer you jobs and love you to death. These are the people that send family and friends. You got to go see this salesperson. He's so easy to work with. Yeah, it was super easy. Boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, we're driving with the new car. Mission accomplished. That's how you know you sold them without them realizing they're buying. So the next time you're on the car lot, whether it's today or tomorrow, think about this. How can I disguise Kyle Galaz's, Poor2Pro's 11 steps of the sale without even the customer realizing they're buying a car? And if you've done it correctly, then there's no grind. It's an easy process. Yes, there's going to be a fight at the desk over numbers. There's always that. But the fact of the matter is you get them through that process so smooth, and you get them farther than they anticipated going. And next thing you know, they're so far into it, you've got their credit, you've got the interest rate, you've done all this stuff, and now they're buying a car. Now, when it comes to credit applications, a lot of salespeople they struggle with this. They don't know how to get to the credit application without the customer realizing they're buying a car, because that's the sales tactic. Let me get your credit, right? Now the customer's giving the credit. The customer puts up a wall. I don't want to run my credit. What's the numbers without my credit, right? So how do you disguise that? You preemptive strike it. I use this all the time. Hey, we're going to get some basic information. Don't worry, it doesn't wreck your credit. So that way when I come back with the numbers for you, the payments, then you have the exact interest rate that your credit qualifies for, and you have the exact payment down to the penny. And then you can decide, hey, I want to move forward, or hey, Kyle, pound sand. But either way, let me at least get you the correct information so you can make an educated decision on whether you want to move forward or not. Oh, okay, that sounds fair. Don't worry. Nothing's going to happen. You're not signing for anything. I just want to let you know that this is the correct information. So if you decide you want to go home and think about it, if you decide you want to go shop the competition, you have exactly down to the penny what I got. I use that all the time. It works with 800 credit scores. It works with 500 credit scores. It works with 700 credit scores. It works with 650s. It doesn't matter the level of customer, because the way I approach the credit app. Let's run your credit. Nope. Wrong. let me get you the rest of the information. I'm going to get some basic info from you, but don't worry, it doesn't wreck your credit. That way I can give you the exact interest rate and the payment down to the penny so you can make an educated decision on whether to buy it or tell me to pound sand, right? I've disguised the credit app as getting them more information so they can decide to move forward or tell me to pound sand. It works every single time. I would say it works 95 to 100% of the time. No, not 100%. Nothing's 100%. It works 95% of the time if you do it with confidence and you assure them, don't worry, it's not going to wreck your credit. Because guess what? It's not going to wreck their credit. But it disguises that credit application as something of just moving forward organically. I'm just getting you the information. And no one that has a 800 credit score is going to run their credit more than once or twice. So you've done all this correctly. You've got them through the steps of the sale without them realizing it. Now you've got this high credit score customer's credit in the system by disguising it. Do you think they want to go somewhere else and do this all over again? Do you think they're going to find someone as fun as you, as kind as you, as savvy as you? No. If anything, they're going to buy the car and offer you a job, or they're going to bring you cookies. That is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about selling customers without them realizing they're buying. Okay? Now, you have to customize this to the way you sell, the way you talk. If you use my exact verbiage, it may work perfectly, it may not. But each of us are different individuals and we're unique. So you have to design what I'm saying into your verbiage because you have to be genuine. If you sound like a script, you're an average salesperson. If you sound like Kyle, you may not sound genuine anymore. So try to tweak this verbiage and this technique and this style of selling to you, to make it personable, to make it genuine, to make it unique to you. Because if you're genuine and unique and you can do this smoothly without the customer realizing they're buying a vehicle, you're going to sell more cars. It's going to get easier and you're going to start climbing the ladder of rankings and sales. You might be salesman of the month this month by starting to use this technique and use this style of selling. And it's more rewarding because customers don't feel like they're buying a car. They're having fun. You're going to have customers smiling more because you're organically taking them through the steps of the sale with no pressure. Even though you're laying the pressure on thick, the customer doesn't even realize it's happening. All right? I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Follow me on those social media accounts. Kyle Galaz, signing out.